Now, before we do this, let's go over the ground rules.
So what are you proposing?
It's simple. Kill the Batman. Here's my card.
Hello, St. Louis. Wait. Hello, Houston. Yeah.
No, not Houston. Only St. Louis.
No. I've decided that you get your city. I want mine.
No.
Hello, Houston.
No, Houston. So not only are we not putting Houston into this, though I do feel bad for the people of Houston. So you know what? All right, hello, Houston. But for this podcast, we're going to be doing a St. Louis Fact of the Week. That's how much I love you, St. Louis. Because I feel like you're going to be probably the only viewership we have. Because of how much emphasis I have put on St. Louis. So, Gus, every week I'm going to be doing, at the beginning of the podcast, one fact of the week from St. Louis.
Well, sounds good, Jack. I'd like to hear your fun fact. What is it?
So my fact of the week for St. Louis is... So, first of all, St. Louis is in the United States of America.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
In the United States of America.
All right, good fact.
Also...
we got more!
Yes. It is also in Missouri.
Okay.
The state of Missouri. So keep those facts in mind when I say this next thing.
Locked away in the vault.
The vault?
The vault's my head.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect.
I'm just going to move past that. So, the big fact of the week is that St. Louis borders on the Mississippi River.
Wait, like the song?
No, not like a song. The actual body of water, the Mississippi River.
Is the song not about the Mississippi River?
No. Gus, think about it. If you were going to say, okay, across the world, the top 10 rivers that you've heard of, what would be number one?
I'm sorry, but that sounds like a terrible top 10.
No, it's a great top 10. What is the number one river you have ever heard of?
Well, of course it's Mississippi, but
the Mississippi River!
Well, that's just because I've only heard of one river.
But it's a great river, and it goes through St. Louis. So that's your fact of the week. No, Gus, you don't get to talk about it. It's because I love St. Louis, and the Mississippi River is right on it.
Well, I'm going to come back at you with Houston fact of the week. Did you not know the Houston has a bigger economy than Sweden? That's right. The country of Sweden has a smaller economy than Houston.
That's great, Gus. Why don't you talk about your economies on another podcast?
Okay.
So, Gus, on that note, with your Houston fact,
it was a great fact.
For all the St. Louis people of the world, what is our podcast going to be about this week?
Well, it's going to be called Business Ideas Pending, or as Jack would like to call it, patent pending. We'll see what it ends up with. I'm going to go with business ideas, but I tend to be outvoted every once in a while.
Yeah, as everyone who sees this and has downloaded this podcast, they realize it was named Patent Pending Podcast, because that is a better name for a podcast. Patent Pending. Almost an alliteration. One word away from an alliteration.
I'm moving past you, Jack. The Patent Pending or Business Ideas Pending podcast this week will be about different businesses that will remove things that we hate. So we will rant about things that we hate by coming up with new businesses.
So, Gus, we're going to come up with ideas for businesses that help to fix the problems that we hate in other businesses.
Exactly. I'm not...
So, thus the patent pending name, because we've patented the ideas. So, to get underneath this 6 minutes, Gus, we're going to quickly say, again, this time correctly, and I apologize to everyone that I needed to do this again. But, so, our Twitter handle is namepending_pod. The email address is namependingwastaken@gmail.com. Gus, why don't you bust us into this podcast?
All right, let's get at it, Jack.
So we've decided to make a little bit of a structural change to the podcast. Structural change. Because we've realized that I butt in way too much on Gus's podcast.
Too much.
Sorry, his rants. I can't help myself from making Gus look stupid on his rants.
I take exception to that.
So we've decided that we're just going to do basically Gus's rants, and then we're going to throw a little small rant in for me. You know, we still did talk about this parking and driving and stuff podcast. We'll do that eventually, but for now, I think it's better for Gus just to do his rants, and then for me to prove him wrong.
Well, on that note, I guess I'm going to get into my rant. So to start my rant, it comes from my start off from this morning.
So would this be a patent on a business you've decided to create in your mind?
Yes, I have in my mind created this business, but I need to set the stage, Jack. I need to set the stage. I bought pens today. Pens. Basic, normal pens. You know what the advertisement on these pens was?
No, I couldn't tell you what the advertisement on your pens were.
Well, good, because that would be weird. But the advertisement was extra smooth, 35% more smoothness.
That sounds great. What's the problem with this? Why are you ranting about smooth pens?
Because that is stupid. I'm sorry. You should not advertise. That is not an advertisement that's going to make me buy pens.
So, Gus, what is your idea here? Like, your idea is to talk to the pen people?
My idea is I'm going to start a business where I provide marketing services, we shall call them. Where no.
Or like advice?
Advice. Okay. Services or advice where after they've done their whole little, like, what do they call that, market testing and stuff, I go in and I say, no, that's stupid. Don't do that. Change your idea. Come back to me with something not stupid. Like, at what point... No. Let me keep going. At what point did that get through, like, their testing? Like, what was so bad about the other proposals that 35% more smoothness made it in?
I'm going to just throw this at you there, Gus. I would buy those pens just for the 35% smoother pen writing. Like, have you ever bought pens for a large amount of people there, Gus?
Yes, I buy whatever one is the cheapest.
I don't think you have. I don't think you've ever bought an amount of pens for a large amount of people. Smoothness is a big factor.
I don't think smoothness is a factor.
Yeah. Think about carpal tunnel syndrome. The vibration of the pen can create carpal tunnel syndrome. Again, please do not fact check me on this, but I feel like the amount of smoothness would help the carpal tunnel syndrome.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is ridiculous. 35% more smoothness. Okay, where did they come up with that percentage? Are they measuring smoothness now?
I feel like they do. I feel like they have. What is that thing that they use for earthquakes? I feel like maybe they put that underneath a piece of paper and then measures the scale of that. I don't want to say a Richter scale. That doesn't sound right. Richter scale? Could that be the earthquake scale? Richter scale?
It kind of sounds right, but I feel like
it is right. I don't know why. But I just pulled a Richter scale out of the air and put it into the pen podcast. No, It's not the pen podcast.
Game pending?
Yeah, whatever.
Pen pending?
I'm just saying. I feel like maybe they did some scientific research on this. Did you look into it?
No.
No. So you're ranting about something you have not even looked into.
Yes.
I feel like maybe it is 35% smoother.
I disagree. I feel like they did not put any effort in deciding if it was actually 35%. Like, okay, so what are they judging it against?
Sandpaper.
Well, everything is 35% more smooth than sandpaper.
No, I feel like there's a lot of things that are actually smoother than sandpaper.
Actually,
more than 35%.
Yeah, I would agree. I would suggest that everything is more than 35%. I feel like that's actually a low percentage now. But we've gotten way past the point.
But Gus, I'm coming in with you here. I don't agree with you with the pen thing. I feel like the smooth, I feel like you would have made a mistake. So I like your idea of a company that is basically just the in-between that says, okay, your idea is stupid. My problem is I just need you not to be in charge of it. I feel like someone like me might be a better choice to be in charge of this company.
Okay, so theoretically, if we're making this company, I would like to do the job of finding these advertisements that I need to be changed, and then you get to decide the actual physical change. So if you decide, hey, that doesn't need to be changed, then it doesn't need to be changed. But because
I wouldn't change the pen thing. The 35% smoother is something that I would purchase. Therefore, I would override you on this and say, yeah, that's a great advertising tool.
All right, let's move on before I just...
As a side note, we do have a brother that does advertising that someday we may bring on this podcast in order to just to see this pen thing, to see whether this 35% was a good idea, bad idea. We'll have him. We're not the experts on this. However, he is. So maybe we'll bring him in and have him take care of this.
I don't think he uses pens in advertising. I think it's all computer work at this point.
I feel like he'd still have an idea on this pen thing.
All right, well, anyways, I'm going to move on. So this is kind of a weird idea, and I don't actually know a solve. Actually, you know what? I have a few ideas for a solve, but
What do you mean a solve?
Like a solve.
Like a solution?
Yeah. Okay.
So why did you say solve?
Because I stick with solve. I'm going to stick with solve. Just move on.
Solution.
Okay, solution. So construction pylons. Don't look at me that way. Let me get into this.
Like the orange things?
Yes, the orange with the black stripes around them. The thing you see 1 million of on a road, like every 2 feet. I'm sorry, have we not come up with a better solve than these stupid things?
Solution. Could you please use the word solution?
No, from now on I'm using solve just to spite you.
Like solvent?
What?
Like you're gonna melt the pylons like a solvent?
A solve. I'm going to solve it.
Oh my goodness.
We need to get rid of these things. There are 9 billion on these stupid... That's not... No, you're not fact-checking.
Side note, this will not be part of a fact check, so please do not take anything we say as pure knowledge. Continue.
9 billion of these things on the road at any given time. Can we not come up with a better way? These things are destroyed. Have you ever seen an entire row of pylons that at least 90% of them weren't smashed or were sitting on the side of the road upside down or something weird?
So what is your anger with pylons, Gus?
They annoy me. I'm sorry. I'm driving down and I'm like, I'm already frustrated, right? Because it's a construction zone. I'm like, I hate you. I know you're doing your job, but I hate you. You're slowing me down. And then I see 9 million pylons and I'm like, well, come on. Do we not have a better solve in this?
So I'm going to jump in with you here. So I don't know about the idea of pylons in general as a problem. It seems like